And my position there is also project manager, but outside of that, on a daily basis, 365 days, 24/7, I'm an advocate for Black wealth. Since I've been hosting this workshop, I've been hosting it every Thursday for a lunch and learn. And last week, we had Richie Bryant, who explained a short little explanation of last week. We'll go ahead and meet them shortly. Next week will also be the final workshop for this week, where we will have 2 more Black deaf businesses presenting. More details will come up shortly. Right now, I want to give a brief recap of the resources. Last week, we invited a presenter, Richie Bryant. And I wanted to share a little bit of a discussion of what we recapped. We had a dinner table syndrome. It's typically common with deaf children with their family members sitting at the dinner table having conversation and not using American Sign Language. The deaf children are typically missing out on important discussions at the dinner table. Oftentimes, families, while talking about something important like financial needs like money, miss out on opportunities to be included because they are missing that information at the table. They're not understanding what the discussion is at the dinner table. This is dinner table syndrome. I wanted to create a space to have uncomfortable conversations. Again, considering taboos such as financial literacy. Oh, these are adult conversations. Oftentimes, adults would say to their children, we need to make spaces for our children and our adults to talk about money. And these conversations need to be discussed throughout our adult years. So shifting our mindset, which means having healthy relationships with money, having knowledge and intelligence about how to use money. Using money as a tool, and then also mentioning and sharing ideas that create additional ways of income. Not just having one source of income, perhaps people have multiple jobs, or they are entrepreneurs and starting their own business. Finding ways to create passive income. That's money you're making while you sleep. Moving on to the next slide. Again, I want to take a moment to acknowledge, and I also want to share the privileges and recognize that some people are not able to afford stocks, or they might not have the knowledge to invest in stocks. So it's quite important to share this information about stock exchange, investments. This is one way you can earn passive income. So again, I want to go ahead and share the 3 Black-owned stock companies. The first one I mentioned, AMS. Most people have not heard about this company, but it is Black-owned, where you are able to rent hospital equipment. For instance, like MRI machines and equipment such as this, or you are, excuse the interpreter. Digital media company is another source of income. This company has become public in 1919, and it's owned by a Black woman who in 1999 was the first time in history a Black-owned public exchange company existed. So if you take a look at the next one, Carver Bank. If you remember back in week 1, we were able to do an explanation on Black-owned banks. There's about 20 or 21 still existing in the United States today. Carver Bank is one of those banks, one of the 20 owned banks that are still existing, where you can invest into stocks as well. Resources. It's critical for businesses, especially during the pandemic. It's very critical for small businesses. They are suffering. Some of them are being shut down and trying to keep those businesses alive. So I wanted to go ahead and share some resources. The two that are available through CSD, Social Refund. It is an investment partnership that has information and webinars, but unfortunately, due to Texas what happened in Texas with the snowstorm, things are postponed right now. But if you want to learn more about this, or if you wanted to seek more opportunities to partner, you can go ahead and take a look for more details at SFV. And that is one component of CSD Unites. CSD Unites offers orients and grants to support your business. Applications are starting now, and I believe they're running until March. I could see some people in the chat room, correct me if I'm wrong, but March 4th is the deadline for Unite's grant application. So the funding source could be used for under your business, which is under the SBA Small Business Associations, where you can receive small loans, tools for your business, as well as Fundra, which is another company where you can also look for other resources, where they have many valuable data and statistics in regards to small businesses and resources to help you with the PPP. CSD's funding department has expertise and knowledge when it comes to the PPP. You can find the application process if you happen to feel overwhelmed or need some type of support. Please consider contacting our finance department. We would be happy to help and support deaf businesses. So I'm going to stop chattering, and I'm going to go ahead and let everyone else share this space. So I'm going to introduce some of the deaf business owners. These are 3 awesome deaf business owners. The first one, Erica Abdul Ji, and most of you know her for her shirts and her designs for her clothing. I recently just bought my new mug for my new collection. And this is her company. The next is Dijani Ross, and the name of her company is The Deaf Flower, where she makes healthy organic juices, gummies. Some of them are elderberry, ginger, and some of these holistic drinks are quite fantastic. But last but not least, Rosetta Stevenson. who has a bakery out in Colorado where she makes different cookies, desserts that are inspired by European descent. So let's go ahead and introduce these three ladies. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So without further ado, I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about your business. Erica? Okay, my name is Erica Oluji, and my name sign is like this. And my business is Airy B. This is my 3rd year running my clothing company. And I want to go ahead and start from the beginning of the times of starting this business. I had aunts and uncles and tons of family members who had their own businesses, and it inspired me to go ahead and later on start my own. I did see other business owners back when I would go to expos, but I was truly inspired to start a deaf Black business. I didn't see many in the past, and I love fashion. I love clothing, and that's one of my inspirations. So I wanted to contribute my deaf culture as well as fashion. So I went ahead and decided to be an entrepreneur and start this business. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dijani. I am the owner of the Deaf Flower. Yes, and I started this business back in 2019. And what I do is I make syrups. And this actually came from my family. I saw the work that they did. So I shared different recipes with my family. We are healers in my family, so I was able to share that knowledge with me.
Oh, thank you. And Rosetta?
Hi, I own Rosetta Steve. I'm Rosetta Stevenson. I own Zeta Marie's Patisserie. It's a French word for European bakery. I'm a baker. My aunt also owns a business as well. So it runs in the family. I've been running that business for coming up on 9 years. Actually started in 2012. And baking is my passion. It helps me not to think about my problems. If I am having a bad day, I'm always in the kitchen just expressing my love for baking. So here I am.
Desserts. Yeah, they solve a lot of problems. I always remember the saying, when you stress itself, when you look at it backwards, it's desserts. So, yes. The next question. How are you able to fund your business, and what resources have you used? Because last week or 2 weeks ago, we shared that Black businesses, entrepreneurship, they typically do not use loans from the bank. Oftentimes, they use their own funds. So we're trying to find other resources such as GoFundMe or grants. So I'm just very curious to see how you guys got started. If maybe one of you can go ahead and answer that question.
I can go ahead and start. When I moved to Colorado, a lot of people
I
recommended.
can't hear interpreter number 1.
When I moved to Colorado, check 1, 2. When I moved to Colorado, a lot of people talked to me about getting finances, and my mother actually helped
I still
contribute
can't hear
to
you.
my business. Testing 1, 2,
Nope,
1, 2. Check 1, 2. Can you hear me now?
barely.
So I would have to make sure that I had everything prepared. My mom and I agreed that both of us decided to pay out of pocket with the encouragement of friends, staff, all of us. We got together and they actually gave me money to buy new equipment. And at the same time, not to pay out, but to actually prove that we were making a profit. So what my suggestion is to contact her and get resources and money, as well as saving up your own money out of pocket. But I definitely would not take loans if you can help it. That's the best advice I could give. Wow, I never thought or considered that. Thank you.
This is DJ. Do you want to go first, Erica? Oh, okay. All right. So for me, my situation is a little bit unique because I did not actually plan to start a business. I mean, this was just a spontaneous idea that came to mind. I was making syrups, and I tend to give them to friends, and the friends really enjoyed them, and so they gave me great testimonials. So I decided to go ahead and expand my business. In the beginning, it was quite difficult because I actually had to pay a lot out of my pocket to start the business. So that meant that every time I got money back for the business, it wasn't exactly profitable yet. So it was more of getting back what I'd already put into the business as I began it. So I then had to invest in other products in order to really make it. So I would say that in the beginning, I wouldn't say I got off to a great start. It wasn't very profitable. The money I got, I invested and I grew little by little to where I am now. So the beginning definitely paid out of pocket.
Thank you. Before I go into my explanation, I want to recognize myself. I have financial privilege based on how I was raised, my family background. I have privileges. I did not experience struggles in the same way as others. My business is unique because I'm selling clothing, tangible things. So the spending is not enormous. So the ability for my small business is quite affordable. Thank you. And now that we have 3 sources of income to start your business, how has this pandemic impacted your businesses? Prior to February 2020, we were all going on our merry way, and then all of a sudden March hit and everything was shut down. Wearing masks, stores being closed. How did this pandemic impact your business overall?
This is Dijani. This pandemic, wow. It was definitely a learning experience before me. Before the pandemic, I would say that my orders were pretty stable and did not really have a problem with shipping items out. But once the pandemic began, then, was both positive and negative impact for me because everyone, of course, wanted to be healthy at that moment. They wanted to stay on track with their health. So they were buying syrups like crazy, which is great. And I was really excited about that because while my business was booming at that time, it was giving me the opportunity to really show people what the syrups can do for them. So they would become more interested in becoming repeat customers. However, the pandemic also meant that everyone was staying home. So if everyone stays home, that means that everyone is online and ordering online. So that caused UPS and the United States Postal Service and everyone to become quite overwhelmed in terms of managing shipping. So that caused delays in people getting my products. So I had more than a handful of my packages delayed. So they were either delayed or they were, because my items are considered perishable, after 1 or 2 weeks, then people see them as not being good. So I had to replace them. So that often means that I had to replace products out of my own pocket. The expense came out of my own pocket. So I had both positive and negative impacts due to COVID.
Erica, this is Erica speaking. To be honest with all of you, it was a wake up call for me, especially within the business. During that time, those 2 years turning into three, the first year my business was growing. The second year, it grew even more. And I worked with myself on expanding the business, having more collaboration, partnership, and hiring people. Then I decided to take a small break so I could focus on recruitment to see what was the best fit for my business to expand. During that break, I decided to go on a vacation. That's where the pandemic truly started. And, I said, oh, now what do I do? And to be honest, I was just saying, wow, this is actually happening. I just kind of had a mental block there. I saw it on the news, I saw complaints, and I said, wow, this is really important. Is this worth my business going through this? I did sit and ponder, and I said, you know what? Wow, is it actually over? Or is this just put on hold for a moment? And the screen has frozen.
It's
So
better now.
So when it came to wedding clothes, school celebrations, everything being canceled, it was such a big impact. So I decided to take a small break until the deliveries started coming back into existence. Then we toughed it out and made it through. So wow, there was a lot of delivery delays, and I'm sure your inventory from other countries overseas also had delays as well. Yes, it did. So that's a pretty common issue with a lot of other businesses.
Well, to be honest with you, my business was booming. Thank you for the pandemic. I can't lie about that. The first years, I would have to say it was difficult, as Dejanay said, or DJ said in the beginning, because of getting your money and everything together. But my business, I earn business mostly by word of mouth. So I don't have to pay for advertisement. That's pretty good. And I use other avenues, word of mouth, people who are customers, bring them to friends and family. And with their support, then they spread out, word of my business and what it's all about. I think it was actually in March when Colorado closed down. And people decided I'm not going to the food store. I'm going to go look for online bakeries in Loveland, Colorado, which is where I am. So people found me online and they contacted me. And people blew up my phone like crazy. They were calling me, they were texting me, they were emailing me. And I'm like, whoa, hold on, I'll get to you. So my business really boomed during the pandemic. So thank you to COVID. I had no negative impacts. I think that the hardest part is that hearing people didn't know how to reach out to me. They assumed that I was hearing and that they could just call me. And I would be like my phone, holding my phone up saying, why are you calling me? I'm deaf. So I would have to say, put in my recording, the person you're calling is deaf, please hang up and text. So then people would know, oh, wow, the baker is deaf. So then they would try to text me or email me. And people email me like crazy. I'm going to say I got 30 to 50 to 100 orders almost every day. And sometimes I just had to say, you know what, I need a break today. I need some time to be with my family. I need time to breathe. So I would have to say that I've been in business for 8 years and my business has boomed this year like crazy. So COVID definitely helped my business grow.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so amazing. So now I'm actually waiting for your desserts to arrive in the mail. I guess I'm one of the 100 orders
Ah,
that you're
yeah.
baking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a one woman show yourself. You don't have a staff. Is that right? Do you have a staff now?
No, no, I don't. I don't have any staff. Well, let me say that my mom is helping me out right now, and I do have one employee, but that employee is only on call if I need that person. And now the employee is I'm having pregnant and having morning sickness, so I have my employee come in and do some things for me while I work my way through this. So yes and no to that.
Got it.
Most of the time, I'm doing everything by myself. I'm just not ready to train anyone yet, because everyone complains that my pastries are the best and it's not the same when other people make them. So I want to make sure that I'm providing my pastries and not other people's pastries. So I'm working on it. I'll probably hire some people in the future, but as you can see behind me, the bakery itself is rather small. It's in the basement of my home. So I'll have my mom and maybe one other employee assist me, but that's who I trust for now.
And Dijane, are you running it yourself or
All
one
by
man?
myself, just me. I do have my partner from some time to time pack for me. After I've been working all day making the syrups, I'm exhausted. I have nothing left to give. So my partner will take over packing for me. So that's my employee, quote unquote employee.
Well, that's nice to have support once in a while. So let's go ahead and go to the next question. How have you been able to take advantage of the resources such as the PPP loan or any type of grant or other resources during this pandemic? Do you have any resources that you would like to mention?
Actually, I got the government stimulus check, and that helped. And then I had some money left over my savings that helped me get by as well. So to be honest, the only resources that I have used are those. I do have my own money, as I mentioned, so I've used that as well. So I haven't really needed much of anything.
So you're one of the fortunate ones where your business did not suffer through the pandemic and it
Right.
actually expanded. So you didn't need to use outside resources to continue and sustain yourself. That's amazing. Erica? So many small businesses are actually not qualified for grants or loans, which is something I did not realize. So I did apply and got rejected, but I'm thankful for this small group of Black deaf owned businesses on Facebook. I'm thankful for those businesses that helped me get through it. Without those Black businesses, I would not be here today. Yes, you explained a little bit about your reason for, not applying or getting denied. What was your experience with that? Because many small businesses are not qualified during this pandemic, a lot of people have reached out. So I went ahead and tried to apply for, things for shipping, and the cost and the demand were getting quite high. So I tried to see if I could apply to see if I can earn a more balanced income. But clearly I was not qualified and I was not, able to follow the demands. I did not make enough profit to qualify for some of those programs. So that's where I found myself in a rut in that moment. But yeah. Oh, yes, I totally understand that.
I think with the resources I had, I received some tips. For example, with my business, it requires a lot of food grade material. So in Oklahoma, I've moved to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is known for its farming community. So if you have a business that has something to do with food or groceries, you can partner with local farmers. So if you can promise that you're going to be, engaged in a continuing partnership with you, then they'll work with you and they'll provide things to you. For example, the elderberries that I use, I made really good friends with my neighbors here, so I could get elderberries, especially now. Elderberries are now not in great supply, so I was able to snag some. And the farming community here grows ginger as well, so I was able to get supplies of ginger. And I would say, if you really want to grow your business, it's important that you make friends with everyone, because there are some shortages of certain materials. And I had friends who would text me and say, "Hey, I found this here, or I found that there. Do you want me to grab it for you?" So I think that's definitely helped me. And my experience has taught me be humble and ask for help and work with other people. And if you do that, they can help you more than what you would think.
Mm,
This is
that's
that's so true.
the power of networking. So I know you just recently shared, but with friends and network, what other tips would you offer to people who are watching this today? If they already are a business owner, or those who are motivated or thinking about entrepreneurship and businesses, what would you recommend?
Well, the tip that I would offer would be that everyone has a dream. Everyone has a dream of opening a business. So once you share that dream, sometimes people expect immediate success. So if you want to go into business, just expect that you're going to fail in the beginning. Expect failure. Nobody comes in and automatically has the most successful business. You're definitely going to struggle through. So the thing is, do you have the grit and patience and determination and humility to make it through that journey, through that struggle? And, sometimes it'll take you 1,000
Mhm.
times to get it right the one way and make it through. So
That's
start
right.
small. Start small. And last year, as again, I'm fortunate, because I had people who trusted and believed in my product, so I knew it would work out. So it's easy to say, this might work, you should try it. And once people try it, it works out. So again, the biggest thing, be patient, be ready for anything to happen.
Amen.
I would agree. I was going to say that as well. This is Zetta. Amen.
Yes. Erica? Erica speaking. So, for new businesses, business owners, or people thinking about starting a business, it definitely won't be an easy journey. But if you feel conflicted, or you feel like you might give up, or you're not sure what to do, it's okay. Businesses will make you get out of your comfort zone, which leads to success.
Definitely. This is DJ. I can't say how many times I truly broke down and cried. Several times, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
This is Zetta. I've been there. You're in the moment where you think, I want to give up, I'm going to quit, I'm done. But at the same time, my mom and my grandmother would say, chin up, keep going, be strong, you could do this. And I admit, I almost gave up with my culinary degree. I almost gave up. I was so frustrated with my instructors. I asked my mom for advice, and my mom said, you know what? If you give up now, when you look back 10 years from now, you'll think, wait, I had 3 more courses left to get those degrees. I could have finished. You will look back and think about that. And now I have 3 culinary degrees, and I look back and I'm proud of myself. So people on Facebook are congratulating me. You're doing good in school. You got your degree. So once I graduated from culinary school and I look back on that, I think how much I accomplished and the fact that I made it. I come from a long line of educators in my family. My family has degrees, so I was passionate and I wanted to keep going. So my mother said, if you enjoy what you're doing, if you love what you're doing, if you are chasing your dream and you are making it, stick with it. Don't give up, and don't let people say, oh, you can't do it. You can't do it, Zetta. You won't make it. She kept saying, you know what? Stay positive. So that's what I do. People will put you down, and they have for many years to say, you can't make it, you won't be able to do it. And my attitude is, watch me. And they are like, wow, I never thought you could make it. I never knew that a deaf person could own a bakery. I never knew you could be a business person. You're Black and you're deaf and you're a woman and you own a business. People never thought it could happen. And now they look at me and say, wow, Rosetta made it. And they're right. I did. I made it. So, what I would say is stick with your dreams, stay with your passion, do what you enjoy doing. Don't give up, and you will succeed. That's the best advice I can offer. You'll make it, period. That's the best advice I can give you.
Yes. That's wonderful advice. And Z, I remember you mentioned during our virtual last month, at one point you said You did stop your business. You sold a part of it.
Right, right. For a short time, well, really, I had a business plan, a 5-year business plan that I adopted. And I thought, well, I'm done. I accomplished it. I'm at the end of the 5 years. But at the end of that 5 years, I decided that I wanted to work it another way. So my goal was to move. I'm in downtown Lebanon. And my goal was, to move forward after 6 months. And I saw there was a lady who believed in setting up a co-op, and she believed in that co-op philosophy. Even though I studied in school, I wasn't really crazy about their ideas and thoughts of running a business. So we had some tension there, and I thought to myself, you know what? This couple wants to try to open their own business, but they struggled so hard to do that. And I felt really sorry for them. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sell my equipment for you. It was about $9,000. I was like, you take the equipment, set up your own business, and I'll start my own business in the future. I need a break for a year. So I donated my equipment to this other person, and they were so thankful and felt so blessed. They just couldn't even believe, that I would just give my equipment to them. And I did that. I felt good about it. I'm not lying. I felt good. It was depressing a little bit, to let go of it at that moment. But I thought, well, I've got a 5-year business plan. I want to help other businesses, other people who are struggling like I did, even though they're hearing and I'm deaf. They see my struggles at the same time. I recognize that they're struggling too. So I wanted to provide that gift to them. So I did some other work at Colorado State University, earned some money, put that money away in savings, and then was able to purchase this new equipment that you see behind me now. So everything I have now is new. So I came back in 2018 with my business. I made cakes here and there. I did some business at the hotel. They would call me for cakes and whatnot. So I never really quit 100%. I didn't just kick it. I kept going with running the business, but I did want to help other businesses get off to a great start too, because I could see their frustration. People really wanted what I had. And so I decided, why not help someone else? Just go for it. So that was why I did it. And that's the story.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Hmm.
I do just have one off the topic question that I would like to ask. If someone contributed 10K, $10,000 to your business right now, what would you do with that money? If it was up to you, would you invest it into your business or would you spend it on other things? What would you do if someone gave you $10,000?
Are you asking me or everyone? This is Zetta. I could answer. I would open another storefront. I would have another bakery because I want to provide for my customers. And I'm actually still looking for another location. As I said, I'm in the basement of my home. And I do have a front entrance there, and it's right off the kitchen. So I'm trying actually to find another location where people can actually come in and look at the bakeries and pastries and whatnot. So that's what I want. I'm
Mm.
working on that. If I got that $10,000, I would right away look for another storefront for the bakery. So that's my goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you would get great value for that as well.
Hmm.
You would be building as the years go through. And
Hmm.
Erica, with that 10,000, wow, that's quite a bit of money. But what would I do with that? Let's see. Like I mentioned before, during the pandemic, I definitely had a wake up call. I definitely felt conflicted in certain ways, and it's hard to explain what my emotions were. I had so many emotions, and seeing other small businesses start to shut down because of the pandemic. So, they weren't able to sustain themselves. And looking at all of us and seeing that we're able to continue through the struggle really just touches my heart. And I want to meet those other deaf individuals, especially Black and POC. I want those people to continue and, basically invest into their businesses and see that ecosystem expand. I don't want to see things shut down just because of a pandemic.
Hmm. This is Dejane. I'm a small town girl, and I've always been, wanting to open a small town shop, like have deaf flower and a flower shop as well. So I just want something small on the side, a little place. I work as a doula, so it would be a place for moms to come and just chill out, I think that would be great. If they had a place to chill, at the same time, they could look at the syrups and whatnot. And also related to what Erica said, to have that money on the side, ready for those who I recognize are struggling, like to offer grants to other people where they don't have to pay back. I think that would be great, so that they could have this experience of us setting up a business like I have. I enjoy my business. I enjoy being a business owner. It's been a couple years. I've learned a lot during those couple of years, and I want to share my enjoyment with others too. So that's what I would definitely look for those who are eager but don't have the resources, but need just a little jump to get started. I would grant that money to them. That would be an awesome opportunity. That's a Zeta. That's a great idea.
Power of money. I'm not rich. I don't own a business, but I do my little, works of do and to support others, other Black businesses. As you can see in my room, Black Business Matters. Trying to decolonize my home, my environment with something as simple as my mug, my t-shirt, supporting Black businesses, with all of the things. It's everywhere in my home. And, even if it's $5, $10, $15, I love to just contribute to those businesses and see them sustain themselves.
Yeah, I would like to add 2 points to that. This is Dejane, DJ. Um, I'm not sure if you're aware that I am Haitian Creole. And in Haiti, they've had quite a few disasters. The earthquake, for example, this year they're still struggling to recover from that. So $10,000 would allow me to truly invest in that community and help them out. And that's something that I definitely want to do. And also, I would use that money if I had, it set aside. Sometimes, if there's a shipping delay and I have to pay out of pocket to replace perishable items, then I could do so. And the interpreter does not have visual access as the speaker is frozen.
Okay, so we'll wait until she pops back up, but we actually do have time for about 3 more questions from the audience. Hopefully DJ will come back soon, but the first question here is, do you mentor or inspire other business owners if you have time for mentorship? Do you mentor other businesses?
I do mentor one deaf person, the person that I mentioned who has some experience, and I educate them in my baking techniques. So I would say yes, I do have a few. Some people have asked me if I would, teach one day. The answer is yes, but let me enjoy my family first. I just had a son. I'm pregnant with another child now. So I just want to enjoy my family, I be accomplished in my dream to have a home, and that way I can be a stay-at-home mom and spend time with my family as well. But definitely in the future, I would like to mentor, train, and perhaps even teach others and encourage, especially high school students. I definitely like to encourage them because I know often they're put down in high school. They don't have a mentor. I didn't have one. If it weren't for my mother and grandmother, they were the ones who supported me. So definitely educating children and people as young adults how to cook and how to bake and how to run a restaurant, so to speak. I definitely would do that.
That's great. And Erica? Thus far, I have been inspired by my family business. Of course, my favorite aunt, I've watched her. She has always been my mentor, but now that I am running my own business, I'm surprised. I've actually got a lot of comments asking, how do you do it? How are you doing this? And I've given explanation, advice, and I've always told people, if you have a passion for the arts, go for it. If you have ideas, do it. The second thing is, one person has asked me, they don't have access to taxes. So I would always explain to them, it depends on your situation, and to go ahead and contact a consultant in regards to your taxes to make sure that you are following the right processes, such as your LLC. And some people might not even have that. So I encourage that for all businesses as a rule. And, a lot of people be like, oh, wow, I did not know that. And, so it's tax information. and, in order to profit. So, a lot of people don't have access to those resources. And I think just having those conversations is considered mentorship. Yes, thank you. So we do have a few more questions that some folks wanted to ask. It's a question for Zeta. So do you bring your desserts or your cakes outside of the state? Suppose we want to taste some of your pastries. Do you ship outside of the states?
Yes, actually, I do. I would say the further state that I've shipped to so far is California and to New York. And well, actually, I can ship anywhere, anywhere. I've shipped to my sister, my cousin, and friends in Maryland, Texas. I have family in Texas. I've kept family in California. And then I have friends who live all over. So, yes, I can ship anywhere.
Perfect. Good to know. So the next question, it's a pretty long question, so let me go ahead and read this. Okay. So the question states, many of us are not aware of your businesses, especially within the media, especially with the Black Deaf community. It's my first time seeing your small business owners and entrepreneurs. And I just started following you all on Instagram, and I look forward to contacting you guys about your services and products. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and inspiring me with your stories about your entrepreneurship and how you're going through your journey in business. The question is, how do we create more awareness about our businesses within the Black Deaf community? And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Definitely is.
Erica speaking. I want you all to be aware, to be honest, and I want to be frank with you all. Black Deaf community and Black Deaf businesses in general are always typically overlooked.
Yes,
Always.
indeed. That's
For
so
many of years. Within community events, they're overlooked. They're not really advertised. We always find out later, right? And that's just typically what it has always been. It's kind of natural, but thanks to CSD and their learning center, to be willing to advertise for our community is a great start. And without CSD, we would not, we might not be where we are right now. So to have more partnership and collaboration, of course, it will take time to, adjust and evolve, but especially in the white deaf community, Latinos, if we're able to advertise, we'll be more recognized as time goes on, right? Jazzy is speaking, and she says, "You know what? Thank you for all of these events. And without all of you, I hope it's not the last time we partner together, but
I do think that we need to have a list that we give of Black-owned businesses. I myself know that sometimes on Instagram they'll share information about Black Deaf-owned businesses. And I actually had to search quite a bit to find it. I shared some information with Erica, and I was trying to find Black Deaf-owned businesses, and it's difficult to do. I found like maybe three or four. There were just not many of us in general. And I was kind of shocked and also saddened by that because I mean, it's great if we had this whole list of deaf run businesses. But I do think that if we really want to find deaf Black owned businesses, we need a list that specifically identifies them that's separate. And we need to have more Black deaf people share this information with other Black deaf people. I mean, I love that we have so many allies out there who are white and Latinx and Asian and who are advocate, but we need to raise our own voices as well.
that's
I don't
right.
see a lot of Black deaf people advocating for themselves. So I want to change that. I want to change that. And I think we have to say, you know what, sis, go ahead. I'll share about you, you share about me. We need more of this.
Yes. Yes. Amen to that. Amen.
And this is that I actually want to see more deaf chefs, more Black deaf chefs. There are not many of us out there. I've met a black deaf gentleman, but most of them are white. And I'm not discriminating, but I do want to see more deaf chefs cooking and bakers and those who own restaurants. It's rare. It's very rare, So I feel like I'm the only black deaf female who owns a bakery, who's in the restaurant business. When you think about the hospitality industry, we need more of that. So just in general, as far as black deaf owned businesses, I actually am focusing on seeing more female owned black deaf businesses. There are a lot of guys out there, but again, they're not, out there advertising themselves. You see something about them, but they're not saying, hey, I own a business. I'm a chef. I'm this, I'm that. There's not a lot of that that's put out there. So, they'll be like, well, I own a business. I'm a personal chef. And I'm like, come on,
Right.
boost yourself up. It's not enough to just be that way. But as far as female black deaf owned businesses, there are far and few in between. And I'd like to see definitely more. And specifically, chefs and bakers is not enough of us.
Ditto. We all have to eat.
There you go.
Okay, so we're almost out of time. So again, I want to give a big thank you. Thank you so much for sharing a lot of your valuable information. And especially with the list right now, we only know of one resource for Black, and it's the Black Deaf Center, which is a good resource to look at, where you can find other Black Deaf owned businesses. And you can go ahead to their website. I know it's quite small, but if your business is not already on that list, please consider looking at that website and adding your resource and share that. That's just one little tip. Again, my sincere gratitudes for all of you participating and putting yourselves in the spotlight and sharing your stories with the community. Take care.
Bye-bye. And thank you so much for having us. Bye-bye.